Hey, what's up everybody? So I just got to see Captain America Brave New World. I'm gonna go ahead and do a review on it here. There's no spoilers here, so stick around and check it out. So I was really looking forward to this movie, especially after Deadpool and Wolverine last year and Agatha All Along last year. I thought Marvel was really on a great comeback streak and I couldn't wait to see this. However, I did have some trepidation still. I'm not a huge fan of the director, Julias Ohna, and also when I saw the trailer, I was like, this kind of looks like something they could have put straight on streaming, which doesn't necessarily make it bad. It's just, is this worth the spectacle of going to the theater? Is it going to have that grand scale Marvel stuff that we all love? But I was also excited that it was going to be a political thriller again. And also, I'm just a huge fan of the first 3 Captain America films. This is the 4th Captain America film in the MCU, but also this is a semi-sequel to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I also quite liked, I must be honest. And I was excited to see Sam Wilson be Captain America. I was excited to see Anthony Mackie lead a film. I think he's a very talented, very charismatic actor, and I couldn't wait to see what he did here. And that's what this film is following. That's the big theme here. Can Sam Wilson take on the name Captain America? How will he do with it? And that's the major theme. And he also has an obstacle in his way, Thaddeus Ross, this time being played by Harrison Ford, because we lost the late great William Hurt, but I thought that was a decent replacement. I was excited to see what Ford did with the role here. As far as that aspect of the film goes, I must say that Harrison Ford is awesome as Thaddeus Ross. I thought it was a seamless transition. I thought he did a great job filling in the shoes of William Hurt. Anytime Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie are on the screen, Sam Wilson and Ross, it really works. The movie thrives. I thought Ford came to play. I thought he did a great job in the movie. Danny Ramirez is back as Joaquin Torres. I really love the relationship between that character and Sam Wilson's character in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I was hoping to see it get carried forward. And unfortunately, I gotta say that is one of the weakest points of the movie, was their relationship. I didn't think it worked out very well. I thought it just needed more life. Anytime they're interacting on the screen, the movie comes off very, very bland to me. So does this movie feel like a streaming movie? Yes, it absolutely does. It feels like an extended episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Again, that doesn't necessarily need to be a bad thing, but unfortunately here it kind of is. I think that this film is very messy, very choppy. I didn't think the story really worked. You can see them trying to clean it up. I mean, there were reports early on that there were reshoots done throughout the process of making this movie, like extensive ones, because the film that they had in their first cut was such a disaster. And I think it just confirms it. I mean, you can see distinctly what was reshot and what wasn't. It just feels very choppy. Like I said, this isn't the worst thing the MCU has ever put out, I must say. It's just such a downgrade from the other Captain America films, and quite a disappointment. This really felt like something I could have watched at home and had just as good of a time with. I will say what they do weave into it does help the story make sense. I mean, throughout it, this movie is very watchable still. I mean, it's a story that's cohesive at the very least, and it really cleans up nicely moving into the 3rd act. I just was very trepidatious in that first like hour and a half of the 2-hour runtime. Watching this film is kind of like watching a tightrope act. You're just kind of waiting to see if they fall or not, and this movie does almost fall many, many times, and it's just right on that line, right? Giancarlo Esposito's in the film as a villain, and I just thought it was nothing. I mean, it added up to almost absolutely nothing. The beginning of the film is absolutely horrendous. This one doesn't have the usual Marvel intro or logo. Even when the opening titles come up, it doesn't even say Captain America Brave New World. It just says Brave New World, which really threw me. But even the action sequence right in the beginning, the sound design felt very off. I just thought the mix was bad. I don't know if that was the theater of the movie, because anytime he would hit somebody with a shield or even with his fist, I mean, it just sounded very muffled and flat. As you know from the trailers, Red Hulk is an aspect in the movie, and he's a lot of fun to watch. I loved watching Red Hulk. It was nice to see a Hulk that was like very rageful again and not funny, and nothing against Ruffalo and his take. He's a great Bruce Banner and Hulk, but I enjoyed what happened here with Red Hulk. There's a lot of carryover from the Incredible Hulk film. If you guys are fans of that, there's some stuff from that film that get wrapped up in this movie, which I really enjoyed. I did feel like this movie was kind of trying to bridge the gap between the stuff that Marvel doesn't want to deal with anymore and the next Avengers stuff stuff that's coming up. It does an okay job at like setting up the next few Avengers movies that we're gonna get, like the next MCU films as well. So it's a nice like little connective bridge, but unfortunately I felt like that's really all this film had to offer. I felt like the stuff and the obstacles that Sam Wilson had to face, we kind of already went through in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. Like there was one scene in particular that was a great scene, but then when you dive into the theme of it, you're kind of like, didn't we already kind of handle this in Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Like, did we need to do this part again? Carl Lumbly's back as Isaiah Bradley. I also think he is very strong in the movie. When he's there, there's a very limited amount of screen time. If you guys have seen the trailers, you guys know why he has a limited amount of time. But anytime Carl Lumbly and Anthony Mackie work together, I just think it thrives. I think that those two work very well together. They carry forward that chemistry from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I feel bad that Anthony Mackie is leading his first Captain America movie and he didn't get a great story built around him. And the problem there is that he's great. Everything he is doing in this movie is great. He is a lot of what makes the film very watchable. A lot of this just doesn't feel like a normal MCU movie. Again, it just kind of feels like a straight to streaming thing, but then there are certain parts, especially leading into the third act, where you kind of go, okay, thank God, it's starting to feel like a Marvel movie again. Again, guys, this one was just pretty disappointing. It's just very middling, you know what I mean? It's just not that great, but it's also absolutely watchable. The action scenes shot by Julias Ohna, they look great. I mean, there's really good shots in the movie, but it just doesn't hit that Marvel spectacle that I was hoping for. And it's definitely a downgrade on the Captain America movie scale. I mean, this is the worst one easily, so, but not the worst film in the MCU. Like I said, you can watch this. I think She-Hulk is much worse, for example. So it's like good, but barely, right? There's your new grade. Barely good. There you are. No, sadly, I'm gonna have to give this one a don't watch. It just doesn't quite hit that mark. It's close to that line, but I just don't think it's got enough to offer. I mean, if you're invested in the MCU, check it out, because it does bridge the gap between some of the loose ends that they wanted to tie up from past things they don't want to deal with anymore, moving into the new stuff that they want to get into. So there we go. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Not the worst, but yeah, unfortunately, this one's gonna get a don't watch for me, guys. Are you excited for this movie? I mean, I think that it might hit everybody very differently, you know, so I still say if you were looking forward to it, you know, check it out and let me know what you thought of it in the comments below when you do see it. And guys, as always, if you like what you saw here today, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share us with your friends, hit that bell for notifications. My name is Dom, and I will talk to you guys later.